So the first one I want to talk about with you is the Jhoan Duran trade. First major domino to fall. We've talked about this one a lot. Um, I'll give you kind of a two-parter here. I guess your initial reaction to that trade and to the return versus your reaction now. And then Max got in touch with a question on Blue Sky, which I should pull out the exact question because the wording was interesting. So he said, Seattle Times reporter Adam Jude shared that the Mariners were close to trading for Duran, offering two, quote, elite prospects, but the Twins accepted Philadelphia's offer. Seattle felt they had made the better offer. Hypothetically, which would you prefer between the Tait Abel trade package and a Henry Ford and Gerangelo Cincha, who is a switch pitcher from the 2024 draft cycle, who's starting to surface on top 100 lists, been up to 96, 97, throwing left-handed and right-handed. So how do you feel about that trade now versus our initial reaction? And what do you think of the hypothetical Seattle package versus what the Twins ended up getting?
So I think to start with the return, the Twins were looking for two top 100 prospects, right? That was kind of the ballpark price. And we've had the most time. Obviously, the Paddock trade happened the day before, but then we had the most time to kind of unpack the Duran trade. And Abel had been kind of a top 100 guy for quite some time, and then had I think was pushed off the Baseball Americas list when they added their new draft picks, right? And so you get kind of a fringe top 100 guy, close to the bigs, has some major league experience, and a catcher, a hopeful catcher, who is a top 50 prospect. And so, again, like I've said, what do you need a closer for if you're not closing games out in October that are super meaningful? Duran, we saw him throw 103, and we haven't seen him throw that hard since, although he was throwing some gas for the Phillies. Yeah. I like that trade because Duran, I mean, he was going to go, and I think it just makes it made a lot of sense. Is Mick Abel going to be a top of the rotation guy? Too early to tell. Is Tait going to be an all-star catcher? Too early to tell. But the potential for both of those things are there. And so when you can turn one guy that's only useful when you're winning into a guy that can be useful probably 4 out of 7 games behind the plate, and another potential, mid to better rotation starter or high leverage reliever with 12 years of control, that's worth it.
Yep.
From my perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit of different spin on that. In my opinion, the Twins took the higher upside play in the return that they went for. They clearly see Abel as a top 100 prospect on their list. Sounds like they've been interested in him for quite some time. And Tait, I mean, he hit his first home run for Cedar Rapids tonight. I think his third game. We are talking about an 18-year-old already crushing baseballs at north of 116 miles per hour. That is some of the best power in baseball. Forget about minor leagues. Forget about the fact that he's 18 years old. One of, I believe, 4 players at high A at age 18. And so the sky's the limit for him. Of course, there's a greater bust potential with him versus someone like Henry Ford, who's already established in AAA. Ford has some different skills in play. He's fast. Tait is not, nor will he ever be fast. But you're talking about a 30 home run threat with a solid hit tool if it all clicks for a Tait. And so I understand why the Twins went in that direction.
Right. And Henry Ford is not going to hit 30 home runs.
Correct.
He might steal 30 bases. But yeah, I mean, that's it is. It's an upside play. It would have been fun to watch a switch pitcher. And he's I think I just saw it. He hit like 99 from the right side.
Yeah, he's throwing absolute gas.
And so he would be more fun as just a fan than Mick Abel, because it's like, you don't know how you can use that arm. And that's the other thing I've wondered with the switch pitcher, because it hasn't really been a thing. Like, can he be a right-handed starting pitcher and then be like a left-handed reliever in between?
I don't know. I straight up don't know how it works. But you raised an interesting thing, and I think this is the crux of how we answer this question, which is to say that one of the reasons the Twins went after Abel is they think they have a plan to optimize the traits that he has, right? And I think it's fair to forgive anyone that maybe doesn't have a ton of faith in the Twins as an org right now, given the performance of the Major League team, that they will be able to execute on that plan. For me personally, I see a fair amount of like kind of a clear barrier between player development and Major League roster build, where I'm willing to I like have a lot of faith in Twins player development. If we look at their farm system, even before the guys that they acquired via trade, their farm system is really, really healthy, in my opinion, and a little bit underrated. And maybe that's a homer take, but they targeted him for a reason. They think they can optimize what he has, and I'm willing to trust that. And I think, there's every chance we see him in September before the end of the season. If not, he's in the mix with Taj Bradley for what is like a lengthy list of potential starting pitchers, and we'll come back to that topic later.